This is a thrill. Brian Tyree Henry, thanks for coming in.
It's an honor. I don't think you understand how great this is for me to be here with you, man.
Thanks for saying that. I know the channel means a lot to a lot of people, so that's it's great to hear.
Absolutely.
Brian has had an enormous run of success here. You're a Tony nominee, an Emmy nominee, an Oscar nominee for Causeway. Which came first?
Well, my first Emmy nomination was for This Is Us, a guest star.
Oh, right, guest star. And then,
and then
Atlanta
and
later.
then Atlanta for supporting. And then my Tony nomination came, and then my Oscar nomination.
Which one's better?
Oh, Oscar, clearly. I mean, come on.
Right.
Who doesn't want that gold man? You know what I mean? They're all amazing.
Yeah.
They're all amazing. And I also understand how rare that is to go from TV or go from stage to TV to film. So, but I'm honored that, I'm just really honored. It still doesn't feel real that I have all that.
So you picked two films. We'll have the Gordon Parks film, The Learning Tree, coming up in a couple of hours, but you started with the 1959 version of Imitation of Life, directed by Douglas Sirk. This is the Lana Turner, Juanita Moore version. Tell me what drew you to this film. When were you first exposed to it?
I was first exposed to this film at a very young age. My eldest sister, it's one of her favorite movies. And, you know, my upbringing, the television kind of raised me. It was my babysitter. It was my nanny.
Where was this growing up?
In Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And so I realized, because I also grew up in a house of adults, I was always watching classic movies. Like, you know, so my sisters were always watching black and white movies. I remember like Nick at Night back in the day. Like it used to be, you know, Dick Van Dyke Show, or, you know, it was all black and white shows. And so I always watched those. And I remember my sister putting on Imitation of Life for me, and I think I was kind of shocked because it was a classic movie, but it was in color, and I was always fascinated by, you know.
Right, you're used to old movies, means black and white.
Well, it means black and white, right? And so I saw this, and she was like, well, you know, there's another one that's in black and white if you want to watch that. And I was like, no, I want to watch the one that you really, and I had to be like 6, 7 years old. But I also was shocked about what the movie was about, like race relations and what that means, and identity and what that means. And so I remember watching this movie about these women and their daughters and trying to figure out exactly what identity means.
Sarah Jane's been passing at school, pretending she's white.
But I am white. I'm as white as Susie.
And so I was wondering why it was so appealing to my sister for a long time, because I was like, what is this about? What is it about this story that draws you in? And she was just like, well, it's a story that exists. Like, this is how people felt. This is how the identity politics were. This is how it was treated. And also for me as a kid, you know, that was something that was taught to me very early. You know what I mean? Like very, very early. My father was born in 1940 in Kentucky, you know, drafted in Vietnam, raised in Jim Crow. You know, my mother, same, Southern, raised in Jim Crow. Now they have this kid that they have brought up in the 80s, and where things in politics in regards to race are different. Civil rights has happened. There are certain freedoms that are afforded to me, but the basis of how to move through life as a black man was something that they always wanted me to understand, and not just as a black man, as a black person. Because the other thing that was really crazy is the actress playing the daughter, Susan Conner, that was very confusing to me because she's a white woman. I remember watching and thinking about what she had to dig down for to play this part. And I remember having one of my sisters who just couldn't watch the movie because she was like, well, she's not black.
She's not black, yeah.
So how am I supposed? I was like, but it's the story, right? Like, it's really about the story and the performance that we're trying to get into. But I also never really questioned why they couldn't find a biracial black woman to play that part.
Oh, well, I mean, first of all,
then
they could have.
They just didn't, right?
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is, given Hollywood's progress between 1934 and 1959, 1934, the year of the first version of Imitation of Life, John Stahl directs that. That's Claudette Colbert and Louise Beavers. But Freddie Washington played the daughter in that one. Freddie Washington was a mixed-race black woman.
Yeah.
And it gives a great, great performance. Susan Conner, it's not her fault she got cast as this. Her father was Paul Conner, who was Lana Turner's agent. But her mother's Lupita Tovar, Mexican actress. I think she's really great in it.
I think she is too. And also, it's no different. I mean, Natalie Wood was playing a Latina woman in West Side Story. So I knew that the politics of
this is how it was.
Hollywood,
right?
that's how it was.
Yeah.
But I think what was really amazing was her chemistry with Juanita Moore in that, because Juanita Moore does a lot of heavy lifting in this movie, being this mother who is raising this child who is a Black woman, you know, at that time, no matter what, you know how it was, like to even have a drop of Blackness in you was you were Black, and that's how you will be treated. But also to then find that balance between her relationship to Lana Turner's character and her daughter, to have these women underneath this roof who are longing for a life that feels so unobtainable, and to have one reach the heights that they wanted, and the other ones denied because of how they were made. So I thought the parallels of that were brilliant, and to then put it into a movie was just, I don't know, incredibly provocative to me.
Yeah. Brian, great stuff. Let's watch it. We'll talk more afterwards.
All right, sounds good.
Here it is, from 1959, produced by Ross Hunter, directed by Douglas Sirk, Juanita Moore, Lana Turner, Susan Kohner, and Sandra Dee in Imitation of Life. I mean, it's a heartbreaking.
The ending.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie.
Are you a crier?
Oh, like I found out when I watched this movie. Mahalia Jackson singing at this funeral, it just sends chills through my spine every time. And just her running up to the casket and finally coming to a realization, it's like, that's too late.
I'm starting, like, it's hard for me right now. I mean, when she's fighting her way through the cops, she goes, let me through.
Let me through.
It's my mother.
Yeah.
It's my mother.
Now it's your mom.
Now it's your mother. Yeah.
You know, now it's your mom.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I mean, there's just something to be said about that scene and coming to terms with who you are. And this woman who cared for you, did everything she could for you, put every dollar aside for you. And that shame that you just carried, that you couldn't tell her. Like, but the ending of that movie, I don't know, it's so beautifully shot. Mahalia Jackson giving the performance, like, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about her singing at this funeral.
When you saw, did you know what it meant that it was Mahalia Jackson when you saw it?
Oh, yeah.
As a kid?
Oh, absolutely. My parents made sure I absolutely understood what that meant. But that voice, to carry that sorrow and that pain, and I don't know.
So I think, two things can be true. Should have found a light-skinned Black actress for the role, but it was 1959, and then Hollywood didn't concern itself with such things. But Susan Kohner gives a great performance, Best Supporting Actress nominee, along with Juanita Moore. There's just so many moments for me between them where, I mean, she's got to show there are moments where she expresses genuine love. But that last scene when she's out working as a dancer and Juanita Moore knows she's dying, but she's like, I just hug my baby one more time. And she's like, fine.
Yeah.
But even in then, that she hugs, she has a face, like in her eyes, you're like, oh, she knows. She knows this is a mistake.
Absolutely.
She knows she's making a mistake.
I believe that she knew her entire life all the things that she was doing to her mother was wrong. But the need to feel accepted, the need to have that privilege, the need to be something other than other was the thing that...
It's like, because nobody likes feeling shame. And when she could fool people, she didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Right?
But she also never thought about the consequences of, you're not fooling anybody.
That's right.
Like, at the end of the day, like, what really happens to you when they do find out, which is what you see Juanita Moore trying to instill in her, is like, at the end of the day, what is it that is killing you? Like, so much to be this part of me, to have this part of you be a part of your life. And it also should be said, the complexities between mother-daughter relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like, to watch these young girls, you know, through their formative years become women in a world that is just very unkind to one and not to the other, what that means, how do you continue to fight that? But then you also have these two women who are representatives who have gone through the same thing that you've gone through at some point in their lives and have found a way to find a friendship and a kinship. So there's so many things about this movie that make me feel so many things, because, like, look, now we have a plethora of biracial actors and spaces for biracial narratives and things like that. But there's something about this particular movie that, even to this day, it still feels relevant. Like, it still feels like these conversations must still be happening with mothers and their daughters, especially, you know, biracial families. Like, what are those conversations looking like in this day and age? How do you tell them how to be good human beings and good people while the world is still telling you, regardless, you're still this and you're still that?
Brian, thank you so much. Great conversation.
Pleasure, man.
Don't go away. Brian and I will return momentarily with the second half of his double feature. It's from 1969, a film written, produced, directed, and scored by Gordon Parks from 1969. The Learning Tree is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, The Learning Tree, then Blind Spot, and later, The Beggar's Opera. TCM watchers can be choosers tonight.